Hey guys, we're back with another clip from the Unsubscribed podcast, which I've just recently discovered through friend of the channel, the Fat Electrician. They're talking conspiracy with this one because this one is about the flat earth theory. All right, now make sure you guys are subscribers to the Unsubscribed podcast. I'll make sure to link that down below and let's dive in. All right, I've covered flat earth once. It was a long time ago, and I'm very interested in conspiracies. And I think it's time to return. So I wanted to hit some more unsubscribed stuff, but I also wanted to hit some new content. And this made perfect sense for me here. So I'm ready to go. My brain is protected. Let's see what we got here. Also, this is featuring Lore Lodge. I do not know that channel or anything, but let me know if that's something I should be checking out.
What are the odds? I've thought about this several times, that the modern flat earth was just the CIA's attempt at discrediting conspiracy theorists that worked too well, and now a lot of stupid people genuinely believe it.
So the reason I'm
okay, I want to answer my thing first there. I don't think so on this one. I think the conspiracy would have to be something that might damage it, cause the CIA is trying to cover up a little bit more, because here's what I think. I think it's gained its notoriety in recent years because it started as a joke, but people prone to conspiracies, which is a psychological type, got onto it and lashed onto it. And once they became invested into it, it becomes very, very hard to let go. That's what I think. Starting as a joke that you saw like on Facebook groups and stuff, but then got latched on. That's what I think. But let's hear what it is. Is this Lore Lodge?
hesitant on that one is that the original flat earth research, the International Flat Earth Research Society, founded in 1958,
big on levels,
peaked at like 3,000 viewers.
Nick.
Yeah.
Like not viewers, sorry, members. Like, and basically what this was this dude, Charles Johnson, was sending out a magazine every quarter that he charged $25 for in the 90s.
Jesus.
Like, and he had 3,000. Think about it, 3,000 people.
God damn.
Yeah, I think at one point he was a monthly newsletter. So he was
a month. He was doing it.
He was rolling in dough. And
I would just like to note how many drinks they have on the table. I asked Nick, Fat Electrician, about that. I said, how often are you like drunk on it? And he said every single time.
Interviews with the guy. Either he was like the original grifter or he was
750,000,
75 grand a month, 900,000 a year. I mean, he's living it up in the 90s for 900 grand.
So here's the thing though, is like he says that and he gives you these numbers.
See this thing too with their. So this is the second time I've seen this, seen their podcast, and I saw it before. People are just like coming and going. I guess that's a thing that they do. You kind of just come and go, please. Now, my thing also about conspiracies is once they tie into money, then it becomes an interesting thing where you start talking about grifting, right? Is it a grift? Is somebody making money off of it? And the more it becomes important to that person's life, the more important it is to keep up that grift. So I know there's a lot of like flat earthers right now that are basically like professional flat earthers, and that they have content or, like YouTube channels and like apps, and they speak for fees and, do all that stuff. That's where it becomes difficult to try to know if they believe it or not. Again, if it's just a grift, whatever.
And you're like, okay, well, then where are all of the other, like, where's all of your property? Like, you have 3,000 people paying you $25 every quarter. That's several $100,000 a year, and you live in a small house with a trailer outside of it on a ranch in California.
Right.
Like, you don't have a bigger house. You don't have more stuff going on. You don't have a nicer car. Like,
is that what that guy has?
I don't think he ever had that many people. And of course, all the records burned in a fire in 1995. Of course. He dies in 2000, and the Flat Earth Society ceases to exist.
Okay, so hold on. I'm assuming this guy, Lore Lodge, or whatever, he's done some research on this, on kind of the history of flat Earth. I should check it out, maybe.
The International Flat Earth Research Society, he had all of the mailing lists. He and his wife are both dead. They don't get passed along to anybody because who the hell wants the Flat Earth Research Society member list?
I want that fucking 900 grand a year, but
I want it now.
You love flat earthers, right?
I hate them.
You love them.
I need to be clear that when I say I hate them, I don't mean like, haha, I think they're stupid. I don't like their belief. I don't like them as people.
I just want to be abundantly clear.
By the way, I'm thinking this video, I don't know if the algorithm is going to pick up flat earthers or in there. I definitely want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from the flat earthers. These guys are not flat earthers, it seems. Are they wrong about what they're saying there? Is there better arguments? Is this fair? You know what I mean? What do you think? And if you're an anti-flat earther, let me know what you think too.
I disagree with them. It's that they don't go to heaven.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like cyclists.
Wait, what?
It's not that I disagree with them. It's that they don't go to heaven.
Yeah.
Oh, no, why not?
Just like cyclists.
You had, I'm assuming it was on a podcast or on
I did get into a bunch of Twitter fights with them.
Yeah, well, that was part of the problem because you had a lot of Twitter fights beforehand, and so you came into that loaded.
God, you guys are gonna get along
I
great.
may have said that I think the world would be better off if all of them stopped breathing.
My favorite part was that we're at the
Well, I haven't heard his reason yet. There's some conspiracies out there that are harmless. As far as if people believe them, okay, whatever. You know, when things start creeping into having some kind of negative effect, like it's going to negatively affect government, it's going to stifle science or something like that. I guess that's when you have to interject, and maybe that's what he kind of means there. What do you guys think about that? The idea about like conspiracies and how actively the debunking community should go after them? Because then at the same time, you're also like, hey, we also want to learn new things. Maybe if you think about a lot of things that we've learned throughout history, how many of them were probably seen as potential conspiracies at one time? You want to leave that door open, right? Falsification of things. But not all things are equal when it comes to falsifiability. And one of the things that might be difficult with flat earth theory is, depending on the arguments out there, is how many of the claims are falsifiable, how many are unfalsifiable.
if we're at the fucking ranch, like we're debating flat earthers on Twitter using Starlink.
I love that.
Satellites.
I love this.
Dude, my favorite video is the one.
Now, I've heard that argument. It's the satellite argument. The satellite argument that I've heard from flat earthers, let me know here, is that it actually just uses like radio towers. It's not actually using satellites, which makes me wonder if all satellite companies would then be in on this sort of thing. I've also heard that satellites are actually just like they exist, but they're just like connected to high altitude balloons. So GPS and all that stuff, I don't know. That's what the counter arguments I've heard.
They're disproving it, and they do the light test, and they're like, if it's here, they'll see it. It's like, wait, we can't see it. Hold it up higher. They go like this. It's like, we see it now, and they're like,
Yep. Well,
what?
one of my favorite parts was that maybe 10 minutes into the debate, we were like, all right, so, what I would ask then is, if the Earth is flat, then you should never be able to see the midnight sun in Antarctica, right? There should never be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Right. He's like, exactly. And as we've seen, there's never been a video showing one. They had a couple of them, but then they admitted they were fake. And we pull one up, and it's not the one that he said was fake. It's one that he admitted. He was like, yeah, that one's real, but you can't see the sun for most of it.
Because it goes behind clouds.
It goes behind clouds. Aiden proceeds to perfectly track in real time where the sunspot is behind the clouds, and the mouse comes out of the clouds on top of the sun perfectly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then Austin goes, well, yeah, but I mean, like, you can't see it behind the cloud. You don't know for sure. And we're like, you can see the sunspot, man. Like, it's there.
Literally, I'm using the mouse to circle it as it goes around.
So I have, that obviously would be a pretty damning thing if you're talking about the geography of the Earth. If the Earth's like a flat plane, and Antarctica, which I know the conspiracy says that like nobody can go there, that it's like it's protected by treaties and stuff like that. But that the 24-hour sun, like the 24-hour sun, is very observable if you live close to the North Pole. You may not see all of it because there's no permanent landmass at the top there, but that the Antarctic sun, that it doesn't exist. The 24-hour sun does not exist at all. And then when you have this evidence, like this video evidence, becomes kind of interesting for people that where this would at least change the model of what they think the sun is, and I guess what the Earth is, but just like denying it, saying it is like it's fake or it's fabricated or something like that, or find something to maybe nitpick. And you wonder if and this is one thing I think I've seen with people like conspiracy kind of believers, is like the standard of evidence that they say they hold on to is not consistent. as far as like how they got to their beliefs. Like they'll get to their beliefs with something that's seen as evidence, but is not equal to what they would say is counter evidence. Does that make sense? It's like a different standard. Like, yeah.
And it's like, look at that.
And then it comes out perfectly timed, and he's like, and it wasn't even like it was the second try or anything.
Yeah.
It was the first try.
Yeah, and then the whole the water thing.
Yeah.
That was entertaining.
Wait, what is the water thing?
So,
God, these dude,
Water
this
curving
is-
on a ball.
again.
So-
when you have
Nick here is like looking up like 24-hour sun something. I want Nick to come out at the end of this and be like, I'm a flat earther now. He's interested. It's piqued his interest now.
like to this level, it's not conspiracy theory. It's fucking retards. It's when
Oh, geez.
retards are given an inch in that book, and they will, no matter what you can show them proof, they are going to still deny it, no matter what. They're like,
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
yeah,
You know, something I've heard of, I think recently I saw like on Twitter or something, that there's somebody that's like interested in the debate, I think, between like Antarctica and its role in like flat versus round earth theory, that is gonna pay to bring globe kind of believer, like debunker, but then also bring like a flat earth content creator, and was going to pay to go on this like trip to Antarctica so they could like both go and be there and like do the tests and do the observations. And I wonder what kind of effect that will have, if somebody picks or takes up the offer. And let's say, for example, like the flat earther comes back and says, yeah, I witnessed a 24-hour sun above my head. Will that actually have any effect? Or will it be one of those things where like, well, he was in on it all along, or he was tricked, or like just like move the goalpost, that kind of thing? I'm afraid that would happen in a conspiracy community, that they just wouldn't take the evidence. And then it becomes like, okay, what is like sufficient evidence for any conspiracy you believe in? And is it consistent with the things that you've accepted on evidence? So are you consistent with your interpretation of evidence?
that's all that matters. It's your
It's just
opinion.
your opinion, man.
I was gonna say, do you want to explain the curve thing and then where it went for the over the ocean?
These guys like debate flat
can't
earthers.
remember.
It started with him trying to claim essentially that it was all due to the refraction.
Refraction's
Which
a
thing are you
thing.
talking about?
Oh,
Wait,
thi-
so this-
sorry,
this-
this was right before he.
This man
exploded, I
really
forgot.
believes that the Earth is flat.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Oh, well,
people-
no, here's the best part of it. All right, ready? Here's my favorite part. After we finished the debate, I found out, do you guys know Audit, the channel that goes and like looks at police interactions and rates how
I
they
know
went?
him.
I think I've heard of
are you
that.
aware? Cody, have you ever heard of a
Is that where like I've heard of like I think it's kind of connected or at least adjacent to what's the other thing I was covering that's kind of conspiratorial? The sovereign citizen thing, where like some of them that I notice I think are sovereign citizens, they do like audits where they go and intentionally will try to like go somewhere where they would get in trouble for like filming or like filming in like a courthouse, or go somewhere, get them in trouble for free speech, and they try to film it. And that isn't that kind of what they're talking about there? I've heard of those, like that thing.
breakdown?
He has a video breaking down how an arrest went. And the guy I was debating was the one being arrested
Oh god.
Oh, I know the video you're fucking
by
talking
the
about.
National
Yep.
Park Service.
Yeah, they're in front of a gas station, right?
No.
Wait,
This
Oh,
is
is this a
from Mount
different one?
Rushmore.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Oh,
No,
have
in
I
this
heard
one,
that?
he gets arrested by the National Park Service in front of Mount Rushmore.
that sounds right. Was he a flat earther in front of it? I was talking about government conspiracies. I might have seen that before. And he's just like pissing everybody. People are all there to go and look at Mount Rushmore, and this dude's like got his camera and set up his, I don't know, his stuff, and is like talking about government conspiracies. Is that right? I'm trying to remember if that was also he was tying it to flat Earth. I may have seen this.
Because he was demonstrating in an area where you needed a permit. Now, right behind that area was an area where you didn't need a permit, and he refused to move. Like, would you like to apply for a permit right now? We could probably get it for you today. And he's like, no. And then he's like, do I need to explain the law to you? And then they proceed to be like, not really, sir. And he's like, well, show me the ordinance. So they show him the ordinance. They're like, well, show me the citation. So they show him the citation. It's like, show me the law.
So he's a fucking sovereign citizen too. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you say?
Show me the law.
So he's a fucking sovereign citizen too. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
This makes perfect sense now.
And I just want.
I mean, there's places like I haven't been able to film. I've gone to places where, yeah, you can't do that. But maybe those were private places and they're arguing, okay, you can do that in some place, free speech areas or whatever.
Watching this, and I'm like, it must have been a COVID thing because everybody's wearing masks. It looks like it was 2020, 2021. He was wearing a lab coat. My guess is that he was up there giving some lecture on,
who's the guy they're talking about, by the way, if you guys know?
you know, how the vaccine's got a microchip or something like that. And
And they made the Earth flat.
and he gets
COVID.
arrested by the National Park Service.
That's our new shirt, dude. COVID made the Earth flat.
Anthony Fauci personally took a roller and flattened it out.
Fauci made the Earth
That's an easy
flat.
graphic.
We're gonna get like a,
Great,
You know,
like,
one thing I have noticed about, I think, conspiracy theories or people that believe in them, it's never one. It's like it seems to be like you kind of end up circling the drain here or whatever, and you get into one, and then it just like you start attaching into all of them. Like I've never heard of somebody that really just believes one. Because if you can believe that there is a conspiracy about one thing, especially depending how like crazy it could sound, because there's some that are very mild, you know, and then there's some that like, okay, that's huge. Like flat Earth is probably a huge one because you're involving a lot of different things and a lot of things being in on it and all that. But yeah, people never seem to just be into one.
cartoon, like just Fauci with a rolling pin over the planet and no further context.
what the fuck do they call what do they call the ceiling over the flat Earth?
The firmament.
The firmament. Which is going to be
the dome.
The fuck is that?
Our new shirt is going to be the flat earther map. We're
it's
in
like
a
a
big
dome.
snow
It's like a
globe.
dome.
The Earth is flat and we're in a snow globe. Basically.
Now I've heard from that's one thing I think I've kind of heard is most every flat earther has there's like a religious influence too. Once you believe in it, then it ties to like God. Like a lot of them, I think a lot of them are even maybe espouse themselves like as Christians, and it's like the Bible says it is, and that gives like confirmation to them about like the flat earth. So if like you're like a biblical absolutist, but you're also a conspiracist, you could also like combine the two into a super conspiracy like you have maybe with flat earth. But yeah, they all seem to be like, I've never heard of like an atheist flat earther. And maybe that ties into how deeply they get into it, because like religion is such an important thing of how we view the world. And if flat earth theory gives you like that comfort of knowing that like there's a God and a purpose for you, then like it becomes more emotionally attractive. And the more you're going to be connected to something like that, like invested on an emotional level, the harder it's going to be to let that go, because like the implications, because that's what if they're like, oh man, it gets falsified. That means there's no meaning to life. There's no God. There's no this and that. Where of course there's plenty of people out in the world that are like, yeah, the earth is round and I believe in Christianity or some religion like that. But it's like for some people, it's like almost like it could be like an all or nothing. I don't know.
Glass of the snow globe is the firmament.
How do they describe other planets?
Are we on the back of the fucking
they're
turtle?
fake, right?
they're just
holograms.
They're lights
They're
in the
night
sky.
lights for kids.
They don't know.
Something like that.
So we're gonna have the flat
Why did I
Earth.
ask?
They don't have an answer. We asked. It was the first thing I think I asked him was, what are the sun and moon and where are they? And he said it didn't matter. And then I asked him, what are the other planets? And he said, well, and I said, when you look up into the sky and you see, other bodies moving around in space that rotate around the sun, what are those? He said, they're planets, what we call wandering stars. And I was like, okay, and what are they? And he was like, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
So that's where I some of this becomes problematic, where it's like you develop this model. Again, you think there's a conspiracy, and this new model, say, of the solar system and even like your purpose on life on Earth or whatever. And it opens up so many more questions. But like, if you're just going to get to a point and be like, okay, that's all I need to know, and like, I don't care about knowing the rest. That's where I fear that you are afraid of falsifying, or that your idea could be falsified. It became so like important to you, like you've latched onto this thing, and it's like, I don't want to go any further because it's given me so much joy and so much confidence and purpose that I don't want to go further for fear of falsifying it. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to like tell you guys what I think as I hear these thoughts.
Is
Science.
By the way, this is within the first 5 minutes.
the round Earth in the room with us right now? like,
This is dude,
classic.
and they-
Those aren't real planets. That's not real communism.
I asked
Quit
him how
asking
solar
questions.
eclipses
Why
work.
he had to bring in communism? Is there an episode where he does not bring in communism?
Said it didn't matter.
Well, he did let it slip after you exploded why he is a flat earther. And it's not actually even what we think it is to an extent. It's in the live somewhere, but essentially he says something along the lines of like, I'm tired of these like schools teaching my Christian children like all of this like atheist science BS.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about, how there's some kind of religious, maybe you're not denominational if you're like a flat earther, but it comes to, you start to see everything else as like a threat and an intentional threat on your belief system. Okay, because I was saying how it maybe for some, the earth either has to be this flat dome thing, or if it's anything else, it falsifies every other sacred belief you have, like a god or something like that. When obviously most Christians on earth believe that, most religious people on earth believe that the earth is round, and it is not in conflict with, your beliefs.
essentially he went on this like very small rant kind of like underneath, like in the background of like the whole debate that was happening, where it was like the whole reason that he was believing in flat earth was because he began to mistrust science because it was atheists, and
a lot of different pathways.
How divided politics has become. He's like, oh, well, if they're going to lie about everything, it probably goes down to the shape of the earth.
Which is like, yes, question everything.
It's like it's a way to justify all of your own beliefs by convincing yourself that there could be very much a conspiracy towards destroying those beliefs. Does that make sense? Like it's all about reinforcement.
And no, don't deny everything.
Yeah.
Because
There's some stuff you're just like, I don't think you flew here, right?
Yep.
you fly him to a fly him to the debate. And tell him, by the way,
That's what I'm like.
you're 3 hours in, look out the window.
Just once.
There is somebody actively right now running something they're calling the final experiment, which I personally believe is an unfortunate name that they should not have gone with.
Horrifically. I was about to make that joke, dude.
Hasn't one died going like he took a
That sounds like the final solution by the Mustache Man Party.
balloon or a rocket?
To make that joke, dude.
Hasn't one died going like he took a balloon
I heard of
or
that
a
guy.
rocket up?
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
One
the
flat
dude
earther, like
built his own
rode a
rocket.
or did something where he went up to disprove that there was a curvature on the plane of Earth,
crashed.
and he died.
Yeah, wasn't it the Chinese guy in the chair full of fucking fireworks?
No, wait, didn't he build his own rocket?
Yeah,
and, like his
I
parachute
do remember
failed or
that.
something?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
and he was
Homemade.
like, look, curvature. And then the parachute fell.
I mean, it's one thing to like, okay, you're like, I want to do something dangerous for the sake of science, right? People do that all the time. They'll be like, I'm going to go into this volcano and go get readings. And it's like, it's dangerous, but it's like certain things you want to die for and certain things, I don't know. Maybe that is one you want to do, but hey, props to the guy for, I mean, you may say he's an idiot, but like he was willing to go up and falsify his beliefs even at the peril of his own life, when so many, I'm sure, conspirators don't do any like experiments or really, try to do that.
It's like, fuck, I'm a retard, and hit Earth and died. God, I hate
Do we know what he thought on the way down?
No, it's the whole thing is just.
Oh, I hate this as a whole thing.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun to talk about. So, again, I'm interested in like conspiracy stuff, mostly for what I'm really interested in is the psychology of conspiracists. I think that is really fascinating. Now, the actual theories and stuff, they can be kind of interesting, entertaining, and funny stuff. But I'm actually more intrigued by the psychology of them and trying to figure out the commonalities. Are people born with conspiratorial minds? People, to tie along with that too, I'm trying to, if there's parallels, I also feel like paranoia is a common theme potentially amongst conspiracists, paranoia, which may tie into the conspiracy too. And I also think there's gotta be, a sense of narcissism. Like narcissism has got to be pretty much across the board, an idea where you feel smarter than others, and whether you truly believe that or that's like literally just coping because you actually feel inadequate. I think I've learned that about narcissism is a lot of narcissists are actually very insecure. Where some narcissists, it's like the opposite. They're so confident in themselves, but like there can be insecurity about it. So anyway, this kind of stuff is interesting to me. It does cross the lines into history as well, because even something like flat Earth theory is going to cross into historical things, because there's historical science and things that have come out. So like say out of Greece, where like Eratosthenes was conducting experiments about round Earth. And then I know people will interject with like the Catholic Church and how they were like part of it, or like a history of Freemasonry, Judaism. I find a lot of conspiracists. There's a lot of anti-Semitism as well. But anyways, and I just think it's interesting to figure out all the things that can be common amongst that. And it's interesting, I guess study that way. Anyways, is this the kind of stuff you guys want me to cover a little bit more? Let me know. I'm totally willing to branch out, and I've been looking to branch out into some other things that we can talk about. And if I can add stuff from my historical perspective, great. But if it's just me and on the side talking, I'm down with that too. But I gotta know if it's what you guys like. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Again, subscribe to the Unsubscribed podcast. I'll link their podcast down below. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.